Hello, world. So, I am going to share with you all John DePetro. He is one of my new heroes for actually being a reporter who is honest, has integrity, and just calls it as he sees it. He's not simping for anybody. He's not trying to persuade anybody. He is literally doing what reporters are supposed to do in America. And I truly hope that people in mainstream media, like Vinny and all of these other assholes with the Boston News and Ashley Banfield and all of these people that reach all of America, start taking some direction from people like John DePetro and Julie Grant, who both have high standards of integrity and still do what America needs them to do. Honest, unbiased reporting. Now, granted, I will say, this is the second trial. So they both have seen the evidence, and like me, I am very biased, and the things that I say are very biased because I know she's guilty. It is literally, I have never seen more evidence in a trial against a defendant ever. And I have watched hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cases play out. Okay? So literally never seen more evidence against a murder defendant. First of all, and then second of all, to watch the news and watch these people simping for a murderer makes me want to vomit. So today I'm going to share with you, before I get really upset about just that whole train of thought, I'm going to share with you a wonderful reporter who actually does his job and does it well, and isn't going to back down because of bullying, because of people being mean to him. This is adulthood, folks. Stand your ground and don't back down from online bullies. It's really easy. If they want to spread lies about us, let them. I don't give a fuck. I don't care what people want to say about me. Go for it. Enjoy it. I know who I am, and the people who know and love me know who I am. You want to lie about me? Go for it. You want to come at me? Go for it. I'll throw down with anybody. Come on over. Okay, now I'm getting crazy. Let's hear what John DePetro has to say today so that we can actually enjoy somebody's reporting on the truth. Thank you.
On this Friday, remember to check out johndepetroshow.com, which is brought to you by the Cowesett Inn, 226 Cowesett Avenue in West Warwick. Remember, folks, as we like to say, lunch, dinner, or drinks in the lounge. Either way, they're literally waiting for you at 6 Cowesett Avenue in West Warwick. This is going to come down to how much are the voters of Providence, how much are they going to put up with? I don't understand it. So the judge, without warning, let the jury go for the day. And something very significant. I'm good. Hello to my friends. My favorite person, and also her sister. Okay. Now, I want to just explain what happened. I want to touch on some things with the case because, folks, because I have been accurately telling you what's going on in the courtroom, as a result of that, then you start to come under attack. And those of you that watch Road Patrol and follow know that there's no way. We're not going to veer off that. It doesn't matter. There is definitely a media narrative that they're trying to bring forth. And it's not just the Boston media. It's also the national media. I'm not going to go along with it. I'm going to tell you what's going on in the courthouse. Now, as far as this...
Thank you, John. Thank you, John. Thank you, John. I want to give you a hug, John. I want to send you chocolates and I don't know what you would like, Celtics tickets or something. Like, thank you so much for just being an honest person in the media. I cannot believe that I have to literally like There are 2 people in the media that tell us the truth about this case. 2 in all of the media, in all of the world. And there are a lot of people talking about this. So who in the hell, how many people's reputations are on the line? Josh Levy's, David Yannetti's, Alan Jackson, these clowns from ARCA, lying, thieving, manipulative, gaslighting, fraudulent assholes. And then they have the same type of people like Ashley Banfield, and apparently Vinnie Politan now falls into this, doing the same thing. Why? Are they threatening you? Are you being paid for this? Are you in bed with them? What? What is the deal? Why are you protecting these people? They have made their beds, and anybody with eyes can see that they're lying pieces of shit. Ugh, sorry, I'm getting completely carried away, but I'm not. This is how I feel. They're lying pieces of shit. And anybody who's intellectually honest following this case can see it. So you can spin your narrative all you want. All you're doing is literally ruining your reputation for people who have integrity, who are loyal, who want good for this world, who are good-hearted people, who want truth and justice to prevail. You are cutting ties with all of America, who is the good people, good, hardworking, working-class citizens. You're done. I will never listen or trust a word any of you ever say again. And I know I'm not alone in that. This is the most obvious gaslighting campaign that I have ever seen in my entire life. It is disgusting. And you should all be ashamed of yourselves. What is your motivation to lie to America? The only time that I would find any justification in that is if it is to literally save us from something. From mass hysteria because of some threat that, the Secret Service is going to take care of. And even then, you should be honest. But I get the whole mass hysteria thing. I do. I get that. I could, have a conversation with somebody about the goods and the bads of that. But other than that, for you to sit and gaslight us, it's one thing when we're like, this is the most blatant shit in the world. It's so blatant. Like a kindergartner could see through this shit. And you do it every night on the news. Like it's some kind of fucking game. John O'Keefe is dead. His family have lost 2 children. Plus, I consider it 3 because their daughter was married. So that's, their son-in-law. They've lost 3 adult children. These children that John was raising have now been thrice orphaned. And you pieces of shit on the mainstream media and social media, every time I watch anything on Karen Read, you're simping for the person who stole that man's life. Not only did she steal that man's life, she did it in a malicious, awful, torturous way. I hope to God he did not feel anything while he was laying there alone in a blizzard in the middle of the night with his friends 30 feet away from him who didn't know he was there because his psychotic girlfriend decided that her life meant more than his. This is who you're protecting. And the people that are protecting her are her high-powered attorneys and a politician named Josh Levy in Massachusetts. And God knows how, I think from the investigations that people have been looking into this, I think, that's where it ends. It doesn't go up to, the president of the United States or anything. But come on. These people, Alan Jackson says he stands outside the courthouse and they have destroyed this community. They have ripped it apart. Okay, so let me go on. So like Hank Brennan said, I think he said it in his opening, this is a 2-crime offense. The crime of murder and then the cover-up. And all of you assholes in the media, in the courtroom, in the podcast making money off of this, $50 super chats, $200 super chats, $75 super chats, millions and thousands of views. People, you're so popular because you're defending a murderer. What is wrong with you? And then it's actually at least a 3-part crime, because what they have done to this community afterwards is deplorable. It is, I can't even come up with a term that is strong enough in the English language to describe the disgusting vitriol that these people, it is pure evil. They have terrified and terrorized the victim's complete family, including children, his best friends, their families, including children, the people that tried to save his life and their children, the governor and I don't even remember. I can't even remember. Not the governor. I'm pissed at the governor. I think if it's the person I'm thinking of that I saw talk shit about Michael Proctor on the news because he sent mean texts about a murderer. It's deplorable. You should have your citizens' backs. He is a human being. He was having a human reaction, and all of you assholes threw him under the bus. That man has a family, small children. You have terrorized his entire family and stolen his livelihood because he got pissed off that somebody killed a police officer and said some mean things. What have they all been doing to your entire community? They have been spreading rumors and lies and propaganda, and now the national media is spreading the same lies. And you all sit in your offices and collect your paychecks and do nothing and say nothing. It is disgusting. It is deplorable. It is shameful. And you all will get your karma. You all need to do better. You all need to make better choices. My opinion is clear. I could go on. If you want to hear my rants, check out the rest of my content because I have lots of them. This stream was actually meant to have positivity in the media. So I'm going to try to focus on John's positivity, the positivity of his honest reporting. So here we go.
It's very obvious that the defense, the Karen defense, is they try to pull a fast one with this business of these ARCA experts. And these guys from ARCA who put in this testimony, by the way, they lied on the stand. They were paid by the defense. They tried to be presented as though they were independent experts. They weren't.
And for all of you people in the media that continue to say they made their decision, they made their findings before they got paid, before they knew the defense, you're lying to yourselves. Either you're not very smart and you can't figure out this very obvious web of lies, or you've been lied to and you accept lies as truth and you defend them. It's lies, okay? I would like to see the work. Anybody else want to see the work that ARCA did? Because they don't show any of their work. They just say it's unlikely that those injuries were caused from a vehicle. And that's science. And you have to believe the science. In a nutshell. Not an exact quote, but that's pretty much what they say on the stand. It's science. You have to trust the science. No, that's fine. Show me the science. You refuse to show me the science. You are so full of shit. And you're lying. And experts that testify for the defense or the prosecution are all human, folks. So when you're sitting in a courtroom or you're watching a trial, just because an expert tells you the sky is purple and you look outside your window and see that it's blue, you don't then have to change your mind and say, well, he must be right because he's an expert. We all have brains. We all can, think for ourselves and see what is happening here. It is so obvious to anybody, literally, that has a first grade education. I can't imagine them not being able to see that these people are lying. They want everybody's fucking cell phones, all of their data, all of their personal information except the murder defendants. Have we ever seen anything off of her phone? I mean, all of this information that we're getting comes from John's phone or other people's phones, right? Where the fuck is her information? Oh, she factory reset her 15 phones. That's right. Why would somebody who's innocent do that? And then why would ARCA experts, defense attorneys, a murder defendant, a terroristic blogger, and all of YouTube then start fucking talking on Signal apps? You know who uses Signal apps? Criminals and terrorists. Do I maybe have some things that could be used against me that might be embarrassing on my phone? I'm sure we all do. Probably. Do I have anything that I could be charged with any crimes on my phone? Absolutely not. I have no reason to use Signal apps to communicate with people in my life. None. So, you all want to disgrace police officers who have literally put their lives in. Brian Higgins literally ran into complete danger. A person shooting a gun, and there's several of them on scene, and the criminal who shot I don't know if it was his partner, one of his colleagues, and Higgins fucking went into danger and went and got him to save him, and the man lived. Okay, Brian Albert, he arrested the Craigslist killer. He arrested, I believe, the Hillside Strangler, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. He has arrested serial killers, folks. But no, these people are going to beat up somebody that they care about and think highly of. They're going to beat him up. They're going to not quite kill him, but they know he's going to die. So before he dies, they're going to throw him on their fucking front lawn to die a torturous, lonely death in the freezing cold weather. Yep, that's what they're going to do. I mean, they can't come up with anything better, like, the train tracks behind the house, or maybe in the middle of the road, or, I don't know. There's a million. I'm sure you could Google where to bury a dead body, but do it on a Signal app so nobody finds it. I mean, what in the hell, people? God, it is so disgusting. It is so disgusting. ARCA needs to get charged with perjury. They also need to be charged with tampering with evidence. And David Yannetti and Alan Jackson and Alessi and Little, even maybe, I mean, I'm less worried about those two, but Yannetti and Jackson have their fingers all over in this. The texts to Turtle Boy are in court documents, folks, from these attorneys telling Turtle Boy how awesome his streams are when he's completely dehumanizing the victim's family and all of the people that loved him. They started a witness intimidation campaign. And all of these disgusting creatures in the media are backing them up, protecting them, carrying water for them, trying to spin shit. So people that aren't paying attention to this, they turn on their news, they hear the kind of shit they're saying. If they're not really paying attention, they're influencing those people. And they know it, which is why they do it, which is so infuriating. I wish I could go to some of these news stations and literally give them a piece of my mind. I have done so in the written form. I have tried to do so in the verbal form, but I can't ever get anybody on the phone. But trust me when I tell you, I would love to go there in person. I would love to have a conversation with Ashley Banfield or Vinnie Politan or Sue O'Connell or these clowns on frickin' Canton Confidential. Get your head out of your asses. Let's listen to somebody with integrity.
Whatever reason, you can't get into someone's mind, they're trying to hijack the prosecution regarding the Karen Reed case. So where do things stand right now? Well, Hank Brennan, the special prosecutor, he deserves a lot of credit. He's not going to back down. He's not going to allow these clowns, and that's what they are, from ARCA, to come in and inject what they say is new evidence, and it's all, and I have to watch my language, but BS, that there's no way that John O'Keefe was struck by a vehicle. It's moronic. What we just heard in the courtroom, fragments of the taillight, fragments of Karen Reed's taillight was found in the clothing of Officer John O'Keefe. So Judge Cannoni ruled the new aperture report and the timestamp shift. Remember, the prosecution, their technology is changing literally every day and every week. And they're improving technology. And when you would celebrate in the courtrooms, and they are improving on the technology that they have. And so much of it has to do with regarding the cell phone and the ability.
And some of these assholes in the media are still entertaining the fact that 227 could have happened. I do not understand how stupid you have to be or how stupid you have to hope your audience is. That should infuriate every American in the world. Anybody, actually, even if you're not in America, that's listening to this BS like Vinnie Politan and all of these people on the new Ashley Banfield, and I can't even think of names right now because I'm so pissed off. But literally, they need you to be stupid. They need you to not look into anything. They need you to, if you are paying attention, to not be able to critically think and say, that has been disproven. That was disproven in the first trial. And these assholes in FKR literally just start talking about it again as if it's real. And people just hop on the train. Why? Because it makes them money. Money, politics, and power. They are killing America. People need love and light. And we need to be honest.
The data they have from Karen Reed's Lexus and also pairing it up with John O'Keefe's cell phone. And the fact of the matter is, you would want that you get the most accurate depiction of the information from her Lexus paired up with John O'Keefe's cell phone. And that's what Hank Brennan and the prosecution, and that's what they're trying to put forward, the most accurate depiction of what happened. Now, the judge, and this morning I was in the courtroom, and Robert Alessi, they're arguing, we're going to have to delay the trial for 4 days, so we're going to have to do all these things. The judge said,
John, just in case you happen to hear this, I so adore you. I listen to Roberta Glass and I adore her too. She said you made a post about that you love, or not that you love, that you think Alessi's a good guy and that you would love to hang out with him or something. I have to question that. And I have to ask you to please think about the fact that this man jumped on this trial supposedly pro bono. He's doing all this work for free to help free a murderer, to lie over and over and over in that courtroom, to spin word salads that all of these podcasters want to say, he's so smart. Why? Because he uses a lot of words to say nothing? That's not a sign of intelligence. That's a sign of a bullshitter. Okay? So all of you that think he's smart clearly are not very smart yourselves. He may be smart, but he does not portray himself as an intelligent person in the courtroom because it's bullshit. He doesn't make a point. He literally talks for 17 hours, and you might be able to pull out one or two points that he either made or tried to make. I mean, it's ridiculous. So please think about that, John. You seem like a super amazing guy. I adore you. I adore your reporting. I would love to meet you. I would love to bullshit with you. But Robert Alessi, no. None of these people are good people. If this is what they decide that they want to spend their time doing, you need to look at their what is their motivation for doing that. Karen Reed is so guilty. He is not even a defense attorney. Why is he here?
And my findings for the record, the defendant has not persuaded me under undue surprise or unfair prejudice by this information. I don't think there's delayed disclosure. So Hank Brennan is holding firm. Hank Brennan, special prosecutor, is holding firm. I also want to, the judge did excuse the jury early today. Next Thursday, half day, Friday, day off for the Memorial Day weekend. But you have to, I want to just address something that was said online. And granted, folks, I understand that right now, because I'm in the courtroom, because I'm going to be on Fox Nation, coming up live, streaming at 3 o'clock, because we're on Court TV every night, because our platforms continue to grow, TikTok, 108,000 followers, Facebook.
Side note, if anybody knows how I can watch Fox Nation without having cable, please let me know. I was trying to find it. I have Roku and I find it, but I have to pay for it, it looks like. I can't imagine that they don't have a free version somewhere. So if anybody knows, let me know, because I would really like to follow John's reporting on Fox Nation. Fox seems to be one of the only stations that reports the truth, or at least tries to. I don't think they're following this case as closely, but what I have seen little clips, they try to report the truth. They just had Bettero on, I think, the other day, though, and that was a shit show. But, what was that on? I felt like that was on Fox Nation, but Jesse from Long Crime was in interviewing him. And Jesse was pushing back. Jesse's no dumbass. I mean, he's not a dumbass. Okay, here we go.
Over 100,000 followers. All of our platforms are growing. And people say, I like the reporting. I like the honest reporting, not going along with certain members of the media that say we have.
Thank you, John. Thank you. Seriously, you have so much of us, of our, we just absolutely, we need this. It's like a breath of fresh air. It's like we can breathe again. We've been suffocating under the blankets, the cold, wet blankets that are weighted down. And you and Julie Grant let us breathe.
To carry Karen Reed's water. We have to help the defense in this and the rest of that nonsense that I can't even listen to and refuse to listen to. But someone put a troll, and there are trolls out there. When I put right now, the jury, there's no reason for this jury to like Karen Reed. And one of the trolls put, that's not accurate. All right, I'll touch on that. I wasn't going to talk about it, but I'll talk about it. So my response to this person, who's not even in the blanking courtroom, so what part, aside from this insanity of worshiping her, or she's their bestie, or Karen, my queen, let's talk about, you're in the jury. And if you take out that it's any defendant right now in her.
Please, anybody, tell me what there is to love and admire about Karen Reed. Anybody. All of you that treat her like a fucking celebrity. You journalists, you call yourself, in Boston, who stand there with your microphones and lob her softball questions and let her lie to your faces. It's disgusting. She is not a celebrity. She murdered a police officer. And if you want to say allegedly, fine. Allegedly, she is on trial for murder, folks. And you're treating her like a fucking celebrity. What is wrong with you?
It just happens to be Karen Reed. But if you're on that jury, you see these smug interviews of her played in the courtroom. You see her mocking. This seemed like a good idea about 15 minutes ago, but we're going to make through it. We're going to get through it. You see her mocking Peg O'Keefe, the mother of John O'Keefe. Let's talk about what would be the perception of Karen Reed right now with this jury in the courtroom. And my question, for not only that person, but anyone is, what exactly would be something positive that you would have a positive impression of the defendant, Karen Reed? What, her outfits every day? Is that what we're talking about? Well, I think they like her because of her outfits. I mean, I don't even know is that really something the jury say? We like the expensive.
God help us if our American citizens are judging criminal defendants on their fucking outfits and how much money they have. Seriously. God help us all.
Pantsuits that she wears. Let's talk about the defendant. We've seen videos of her mocking Peg O'Keefe. You could tell Peg O'Keefe hates Karen Reed. Again, if you're on the jury, what's the positive? These people, oh no, the jury loves Karen. Okay, I'm just asking, based on what have they seen or heard that would in any way give them a favorable impression of the defendant, Karen Reed? Alan Jackson didn't even talk about her in the open. They don't see a husband in court with her. They don't see any children behind her in court. They see her parents, and then, it's an ever-changing group of people that are then behind her. So what have we heard?
Which, by the way, they're raffling off tickets for the courtroom, which is, first of all, illegal. Actually, first of all, just disgusting. Disgusting. Who fucking does that? And second of all, illegal. And third of all, what the hell is wrong with you people that want to win tickets and sit with a murder defendant's family who's clearly guilty and worship her like she's some kind of Roman queen? Seriously, what is wrong with you people? There's serious mental health issues going on. Serious mental health issues surrounding this case.
We heard first responders saying she arrived like a maniac, saying, I hit him. Or not just one person, but several people. We heard that from Jen McCain. We heard it from Terry Roberts. She's calling people. John's dead. I think he got hit by a plow. What did the niece say the other day? Karen at 4:30 in the morning said, I think he got hit by a plow. Could I have hit him? That's what...
I believe she was about 14 at the time. She's waking her up, screaming that she thinks that John has been hit by a plow, to his orphaned niece who he's now raising. That's what Karen Read did. Is that likable? Do you think that people on the jury, if they're not brainwashed by this fucking cult, would like her? People? Seriously? For why? I concur 100% with John DePietro. It's humorous to think that there's something to like about Karen Read. She is... Give me Wendy Adelson any day of the week. I think Roberta said that last night. It's funny because I literally said it earlier yesterday too. Like, Wendy Adelson definitely needs to be arrested, and I'm sure that they're still working on it, and probably hopefully are closer than ever. But literally, she is a better person than Karen Read. Karen Read has killed John. Karen Read killed John over and over and over again by re-victimizing his family, his children, his community. They have intimidated every person in that community. They have stolen jobs from people. You know how many victims Karen Read has at this point? Too many to even count. There is nothing to like, admire, or enjoy about her. She's dangerous. And if you're surrounding yourself with her and you literally believe the lies that are coming out of her mouth, you are in danger. She is a dangerous person. And if she gets pissed off at you, make sure that you're not alone with her. That's all I can say.
He's testified too. We've seen these clips. We were talking about drinking. The person, the troll, that is saying that's not accurate. The jury loves Karen. Was it the Higgins text? Is that what we led to?
I wonder if that's Sue O'Connell or Jess Machado, or if it's just some, one of these little sycophants online that aren't supposed reporters. Sue and all of you, you should just be ashamed of yourselves. Ashamed. If you believe in any kind of karma or repentance for your sins or anything like that, any kind of spiritual belief that you have, you really should probably embrace that and start reflecting on what kind of person you want to be and what kind of karma you would like to have. Which, quite frankly, is selfish. And honestly, when I say shit like that, it kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies, because you should want to do the right thing because it's the right thing, not because you're going to go through hell later because you lied, cheated, stole, whatever. You should do it because it's the right thing.
Believe the jury really likes that she was texting some guy named Brian Higgins and calling him hot. So that's what you're basing this on?
Yeah, so she was cheating on the boyfriend who she's accusing of cheating on her, which he was not by all accounts. He was kind of busy with children and work. So I don't think he had time to cheat. Does sound like he was a bit of a ladies' man. Does sound like a lot of ladies were interested. But he was, by all accounts that I have investigated, not cheating. But that's what narcissists do. It's all about them. As we see, oh, John's dead and I feel bad, but now it's all about me. She literally tells us this, people. And you make excuses for her, people out there that are making excuses for her without her even making those excuses. You come up with bullshit that not even her or her defense team are saying. Why? What's in it for you? What's your motivation? Is it because you relate to her? Because if you do, then that might mean that you need to investigate the situation in your own emotional self.
Maybe, is that what it is? Maybe it's the voicemails. The jury really likes Karen because she was very passionate about John, when she was leaving him those voicemails.
Yeah, that must be it.
Let alone that we've learned, he's lying there, clinging to life, and she's leaving voicemails, calling him a pervert, and she blanking hates him. So is that the part that's endearing to the jury? The jury is saying, I wasn't sure about this defendant, but when I heard those voicemails where she's screaming at the deceased that he's a pervert and he's using her and she hates him, that's when I then fell into her camp. Is that what we're led to believe? Is it the videos that they play where she's saying, it was a weak pour. I could barely taste the booze. No, I had to order a shot. That was a weak pour at that play. Are you kidding me? Too much. It was a vodka tonic, too much ice. I had to order an extra sidecar. Is that the part that the jury's driving up to? So I want to come back to, I stand by my statement that there's been nothing. I'm not saying it can't change, by the way. I'm not saying it can't change. I fully get that the defense is going to get a chance to put on their case, and maybe they are going to put on character witnesses that are going to say she is this fantastic person and talk about the.
I have been asking for ex-boyfriends to come forward. I have since heard that there are ex-boyfriends that literally are scared. I mean, I think they have families and things now that they're, not willing to put themselves in danger. I totally get that. But I don't think you're going to be able to find character witnesses that have a lot of really great testimony for Karen Read. There are a lot of rumors out there about this not being her first abusive boyfriend, that she abused that came out wrong. Her first relationship that she was in where she was the abuser. That's her character. She's an abusive, narcissistic psychopath. I'm not saying that as a Turner phrase. I'm not a therapist or not a therapist, a psychologist, so I can't diagnose her, okay? But she is a psychopath. She exhibits all the signs of a psychopath. The woman has no ability to see that her mocking Peg O'Keefe is completely not a good look. On national TV, she's mocking the murder victim's mother. She cannot see how other people perceive that. That is a classic sign of a psychopath. There are so many. Look up the signs of a psychopath, folks. There are so many. She has nearly all of them. She is criminally minded psychopath who only cares about saving her own ass, and she will step on the necks of any one of you, including the people that are carrying water for her and think that you're her bestie. She would step on you like a cockroach if it meant saving her own ass.
Relationship with John and everything else. But all I'm saying is that right now, so far, as we are day 17 into the trial, there has been nothing positive about Karen Read, and I would not see where the jury would be fawning over her the way apparently some people are. Folks, this portion of the program, and I realize because I have to be at a studio for Fox Nation, and because they let court off early, I thought we could make this work. I think we can get through till 2 o'clock. That's what the evidence is adding up. Type in your zip code. You can depend on Propane Plus. Residential and commercial, it's Propane Plus. Call them today for all your propane needs. Give them a call in Rhode Island, 401-885-4209, or in Massachusetts, 508-252-3359 for Propane Plus. Well, folks, good afternoon. It is Friday. It's been a long week with the Karen Read trial. The court ended early. I want to come back to, I would say that this has been a very successful week, a powerful week for the prosecution. The evidence is adding up as far as the taillight. And the testimony we just heard is fragments of the taillight, the Karen Read taillight, found in the clothing of Officer John O'Keefe. Now, I'm not trying to debate anybody. I'm not trying to win anyone over. But I think that's a pretty good question. How, if he were...
I've seen a bunch of trolls come out and say, it wasn't embedded in his clothes. You were all wrong. Yes, it was. She had to scrape it off of his clothing with a metal spatula. That is embedded, folks. And the magical hair, it's called ice. It's called a snowstorm. Ladies, when you take a shower, how many of you, if you walk in your shower, you'll go find hair on the side of your shower? Our hair falls out all the time, and water holds our hair on the shower all of the time. How hard is it to get water or to get a piece of hair off your hand if you're in the pool or the ocean or the shower and you get a piece of hair stuck on your finger? How hard is it for you to get that off your hand? It just doesn't want to come, okay? Hair freezes in the cold weather with water that then turns to ice. That's science, and that's how that hair survived, folks. You need to use your brains. You really do.
Brought into the house and assaulted. How did fragments of her taillight, fragments now, get into his clothing? But this business of, oh no, the jury loves Karen Read, based on what? I would argue they haven't heard anything other than she was the girlfriend of the defendant, who seemed like a pretty decent guy. They haven't heard anything that would lead them to have that feeling. If I was sitting on the jury and you have someone who's sitting there, and again, I want to be very clear, I'm not saying the defense is not going to get a chance to put their case on, but it is...
Okay, clearly I'm biased, as we all know if you're listening to me. But if I were on that jury, I would be so irritated with this defense team. I would be like, okay, tell me exactly how this happened. I would want to see the accident reconstructionist, and then I'm out. Like, she's guilty. It's in my mind. Hank has proven so many of these elements already. I want to know more about her intent if I'm on the jury. I know her intent. It's obvious to me the psychology of this woman. These 50 phone calls, and everybody saying she wouldn't do that if she knew she hit him. Yes, she would. She does not have a normal brain, folks. Would you or I do that? No. But, I know that I'm not criminally insane. And so therefore, I would not do any of the things that she has done. I find this behavior terroristic. I really, really do. I'm not using that term lightly. So no, I wouldn't. And people that have empathy for human beings and know how to love, know what it feels like to love other human beings, would not do that. She does not think like a normal human being. Think of a different criminal that you know that is guilty. How about Jodi Arias? Are you going to make defenses for her like she's a really good person, or that she loved Travis, or that, what? Like, she was drove across the country and peeing in her water bottles in her car and bringing gas tanks in her car. She did all that because she loved him so much. That's why she did that. She loved him so much she couldn't wait to see him, right? What, people? That is not normal. You don't do that. If you're worried, you call 911. First of all, you call the friends that you just apparently dropped him off at. She had Higgins's number, if nobody else's, okay, to make sure that he got in the house, to make sure that he's there, whatever. She didn't do that. She's so worried about him, but she never, ever, ever calls 911, including when she went to get her next victims, Jen and Carrie, to go with her to find the body. Find John's body. Sorry, John, that came out bad. I'm super mad. Find John's body. She didn't call 911, folks. Not ever. That is not innocence. That is not shock. That is somebody trying to create chaos, trying to confuse everybody, trying to put on a show of, some deranged woman, who she is a deranged woman, so that wasn't hard, but it was just shocking everybody's system even more than the whole situation was.
Totally disingenuous that people are trying to put out this perception. Oh, the jury really likes Carrie. Based on what? Based on what? It's all negative. And I get part of the prosecution is it should be, but those clips of her saying, I probably did say I hit him, but I didn't say it as many times as they claim, or her mocking Ed O'Keefe. Like, what planet are you living on? There's been nothing positive about her. I guess unless you're like an alcoholic that has anger issues, and maybe you find her relatable, but I'm just trying to be objective here. And folks, again, I'm very content to just put out and report to you what I'm seeing, what I'm observing, my experience. Covered a lot of different trials. Sometimes it matches up, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. It's way too early. These people that say, oh, there's reasonable. You don't know that. You don't know. To me, you can't make a valid assessment.
Okay, let me talk about reasonable doubt, folks. Reasonable doubt, and John's clearly going here. He's talking about all the evidence, isn't it? Again, I'm biased. I've seen the first trial. I know the evidence. I can see they have even more evidence, if you can imagine. We now know that, we've known since a pre-trial hearing that Hank has time and place. And now we know specific time, which I can't remember off the top of my head, but we know the specific time on the specific date in the specific location that Karen Reed hit John and left him to die in the cold. And if she pulled glass out of his face and if he bled, then that means that she did that, which I don't know if that's true because she lies all the time. But if that is true, which is a statement she made on the ID docuseries, that means that she did that when he was alive. So did she do that before she left him there while he was laying on the lawn after she just hit him? Or did she do that the next morning before she went and got Jen and Carrie and he was still alive? When did she do that? Because if he bled like that, like she claims, he was alive. And it gives me the heebie-jeebies to think. My brain is thinking she did it that night. That's where my intuition is telling me. She did it that night. She hit him. She knew she hit him. There's no way you cannot hear those bells and whistles in her car. I don't care if you have YouTube blaring. Those kind of cars turn down your volume when the alarm systems are going off. And the alarm systems go off. And they are loud. And the lights flash. Okay? There's no... Plus, you hit a 200-pound man or so. I don't remember how. I mean, he was a 6-foot-tall man. So, you hit him. Yeah. You're gonna know that you hit him. She knew it. So, did she get out then? And pull glass out of his face? Which, by the way, is impact from the vehicle strike and the force of 25 miles an hour and the glass that he was holding in his hand. That would be my brain critically thinking, no, I wasn't there. But that would be what the conclusion that so far with the evidence that I've heard, I would come to that conclusion. Reasonable doubt, first of all, needs to be reasonable. And second of all, you need to hear all of the evidence. You can't just say, and you need to look at the totality. You can't say, oh, well, I don't know exactly this one thing. I don't know why Brian and Brian made butt dials. Therefore, I can't find her guilty. No, you look at all the totality of the evidence. If all of that does not paint a complete picture and make sense, then there's reasonable doubt. If you have two theories that are equally realistic, okay, the defense does not have a cogent theory from beginning to end. Any of these FKR trolls on the internet that try to preach to you and convince people that Karen is innocent, if you ask them questions, they don't give you answers to your question. They literally just say butt dials and why didn't they come out on the lawn and all of these things that have very honest explanations if you listen to the responses. All of the actual evidence is out there for you to find. Butt dials and people not hearing something while they're at a party or after they've been drinking and they've been sleeping for a few hours, that is not evidence of the crime that was committed. All of the evidence points to Karen Read. Reasonable doubt needs to come after all of the evidence is in, and if you have a theory that does not make sense, if there's a big missing component that convinces you, I cannot convict this person because this just doesn't make sense to me. And also, if you have another theory from the defense that makes equal sense, if you can say these two things are equal, okay, I could see that. Really what you're supposed to do with Occam's razor is say these two things both make sense from beginning to end. But Occam's razor is the simplest of the two. Okay, you don't have two theories that equally make sense. You have one theory from the prosecution that is very straightforward. You have a lot of nonsense and noise from the defense. That is not reasonable doubt. It is not weird little one little thing that you pull out on mainstream media, on Vinnie Politan, on Ashley Banfield, on all of these disgusting podcasts like Brandy Churchwell and Melanie Little and Turtle Boy and Defense Diaries and LTL and Young Jerks and Carl Steinbeck, and the list goes on and on. It's not one little thing like, ooh, butt dials. Ooh, they didn't come out of their house. Ooh, I don't know. There's so many little stupid things that they say. That is not reasonable doubt. Karen Read could come out and say, I hit John and this is how I did it. And you guys would still say she's innocent, she's lying, she's been brainwashed. You will not accept the truth. And it's scary to see our media jumping on board with that. It's really scary. If they lie to us about something so blatantly, obviously lies, what else are they lying to us about? We can't trust them. Who can we trust? We can trust Julie Grant and John DePietro from what I can tell. I can't find very many others. If anybody knows of any others, let me know.
Both sides have presented, till they've had closing arguments, till you get a sense of who's on the jury and exactly what they're going to be debating. I just think it's too early for that. But so far, the prosecution has put on a pretty compelling case that it was outside 34 Fairview. It was at the flagpole. The defendant was acting like a maniac. The defendant had a broken taillight, meaning Karen Reed. And now we're learning about manner of death and cause of death. And that's two different aspects of that, by the way. Folks,
Okay, manner of death and cause of death. The fact that the medical examiner, again, this is where jurors have brains, and I hope this jury is not brainwashed and has not been touched by the Innocence fraud campaign and is not willing to bend their morals for an Innocence fraud campaign. Truly hope so, because I think most intelligent people listen to that medical examiner and say, what is wrong with her? Why is she being so difficult? Why is she giving this prosecution such a hard time? All of the evidence is there, yet she still won't call it a homicide. Because what? Because she didn't see the car interaction? Okay, it's not really a big deal, first of all, if like a person is let's say, killed in a car accident. It could have been an accident, right? Or it could have been homicide. That's the point. It could have been either or. She wasn't there, so she doesn't know. She apparently refuses to look at all of the other evidence, which most medical examiners that I know, that I have witnessed working with police officers who say, this is our evidence, this is the person's body that you are now going to investigate. Both of us together come up with what the is it manner? Is that is manner the suicide, homicide, whichever one it is? She's saying brain injury, hypothermia. That's the cause. That is what killed him. The brain injury first and foremost. If he would have got help, he could have lived. If Karen Reed wasn't a psychopath, he would have lived, could have lived. Okay. Then the hypothermia set in. That's secondary. She clarified that for us. But she will not tell us if it's homicide or an accident. Why? Because apparently she refuses to look at the evidence that the police department brings her and tells her, look, he has all these taillight fragments in his clothing. Her car taillight is broken. They didn't have this information at the time, but her black box information tells us all, at this time, this is what happened. His DNA is on the inside of the taillight housing. How does that happen? It doesn't get inside of a broken taillight until after the taillight is broken, folks. There's all of this evidence. And again, I've never seen a medical examiner be this obtuse. Like, I don't know if the defense is paying her, has bribed her, has threatened her, or if she's just a crazy person. But, like, here's all the evidence. Nope, still can't determine if it's suicide or if it's an accident or homicide. Okay, fine. I think the jury, again, if they're intellectually honest people, will look at that and say, okay, something's wrong with that. Either exactly what I just listed, or she's just not all there, or she's just a stubborn asshole, or for some reason has it out for the police or something. I don't know. Maybe she thinks Michael Proctor's texts are mean, and therefore she's not going to, help them in any way. She's going to let the police do their investigation, and she's going to tell us how he died. Fine. The jury can figure that out. That is not some big win, you frickin' law tube idiots like Lawyer and Melanie Little and Defense Diaries and all of you that sit and preach about Karen Reed's innocence. Oh my God. I feel sorry for anybody in your life when you're doing this. This tells all of us what kind of people you are. That is not a win that the medical examiner won't say if it's homicide or an accident. It's not a win. The rest of the evidence is coming out in the court of law right in front of their eyes. They can put two and two together, hopefully better than the freaking medical examiner.
Watch the program. He's watched by Roof Co. Rhode Island. Top level service, prices you can afford. Call them. Facebook page. Why not get a free estimate? And And as a result of that, I have to be in Fox Nation for 3 o'clock, so I thought I'd get a head start on that, and then I have to actually go back for Court TV tonight. Got a chance to get some stuff done on this Friday. It all depends.
Let me just say, John DePetro and Krowski, I want to meet Krowski in real life. I really do. I really admire you, Joe Krowski, for standing up, for being one of the only voices in that area that is standing up for the truth. As a criminal defense attorney even, standing up for the truth. And yes, full disclosure, he did represent Colin Albert when he was getting terrorized by these domestic terrorists, in my opinion. Because Joe Krowski Jr. is apparently a very good man. I have so much respect for you, and if you happen to hear this, which again, I'm one of the smallest YouTubers on the internet, but just in case you do, I hope you know how appreciated you are by so many that don't even know you. The fact that you were a voice of reason on the ID documentary, the fact that you're a voice of reason on Vinny's ridiculous clown show every night, the fact that you won't back down from the facts of the case, and the fact that you acknowledge Hank Brennan's brilliance and his fight for justice for John. I cannot express in words how much I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And just in case Kevin Lanahan hears this, I am praying for you. I am with you. I am so happy that you're home and get to rest in your own home. And you're in my thoughts and prayers. And it was so good to see you and hear from you last night. And you know that you're loved and cherished and cared for, and that we appreciate you and love you. And I just want to say that also. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for all you've done and continue to do, even in the face of your own, I was going to say struggles. That's not a strong enough word, but crises. Just, it's impeccable. And we appreciate you. Thank you so much. And I'm here praying. You're in my thoughts and prayers. Thank you all.
Folks, I'm not trying to follow the crowd. There are some people that think that, and I want to just use this as an example. There are some people that think all reporting should be the same. There are some people that believe that every report should be identical. I don't subscribe to that. And I want to remind you of some other names that did not. And probably the most famous is Rush Limbaugh. Rush said, I don't believe and I don't agree with all the reporting that's coming out about Washington, about the White House. Rush Limbaugh, El Rushbo, rest in peace, paved the way for Fox News Channel. Fox News Channel, of which we're going to be on this afternoon, 3 to 4, Fox Nation. By the way, I'm doing Newsmax next Wednesday. Newsmax, Fox News Channel. You have the Washington establishment, right, CNN, New York Times, that all say, this should be the narrative covering the White House. This is how you describe Kamala Harris. This is how you describe, at the time, President Biden. Does Fox follow that? No. So, I've never subscribed to that. I know some people think that. Every report should be identical. That is entirely up to those individuals. That is not how
That is deplorable, and thank you, John. Thank you for being honest and not subscribing to the propaganda. Our news in America should not be propaganda.
I see it. I think Hank Brennan, the special prosecutor, much to the dismay of a lot of the Free Carry Crowd, I think he's won every day. He's getting in things. There's a pattern. They get in what they have.
Amen. Amen. He has won every day. Hank Brennan, I hope to God I get to meet you someday. You have been my hero since the first time I saw you stand up in court for this case. The minute you opened your mouth, I knew it, because I just know these things. I have a sixth sense for people. I have a sixth sense for just my intuition is on point. My gut is my guide. My gut is my God. I listen to it. Through life experience, I have learned to listen to it. And you, sir, are an amazing human being. Again, another defense attorney coming in and standing for truth and justice. And people want to say, he's a mob lawyer. And I keep saying, I'll say it again really quickly, real briefly. People are not understanding what that means. What did Hank Brennan do in the Whitey Bulger case? He wasn't standing up there saying Whitey Bulger is innocent and I think that we should free this man. What was his whole entire point in the Whitey Bulger case? What was Hank Brennan doing, folks? What was he doing? He exposed federal government corruption. He exposed federal government corruption. That was his point. He said on an interview, "We expect criminals to act that way. We do not expect our law enforcement," and I would add other people in power, "to act and take actions of criminals." That is not okay. And that was the point. What's happening here? There is federal government corruption, Josh Levy. And I hope and pray that Hank Brennan, when this case is over and Karen Read goes to prison, that he then is hired to prosecute Aiden Carney, aka Turtle Boy, and bring charges against, at the very least, bring charges against Daniel Wolf and David Yannetti and Alan Jackson and Josh Levy. Hank Brennan is a meticulous, intelligent. He doesn't listen to Alessi. It was humorous today to me when he's like, I don't even know what he's talking about. The judge was asking him a question. Now, I'm sure the FKR podcast tonight are going to say, he doesn't even understand what Alessi's saying. He's so stupid. No, he doesn't listen to the freaking word salad because it's nonsense. And he doesn't make any points. And he's lying, quite frankly. He's twisting words. It's not the truth. He's like, I have no idea what he's even talking about. And then the judge, asks him to clarify. He stands up and clarifies. He says, that they are, once again, just saying shit to say it, which again, they accuse Hank Brennan of doing. Like, Hank Brennan is coming in the courtroom lying about the collusion. No, the judge found it to be fact, which is something to say because this judge seems to want to fight for Karen Read more than she wants to fight for John O'Keefe. I don't get it. Doesn't make sense to me. That's a whole nother rant. I gave her a lot of grace, but I don't understand it. I don't understand it. She finally made rulings. I knew Hank Brennan was going to hold her feet to the fire, and he is, to the best of his ability. Whatever he can't do says something. But she agreed with Hank Brennan that there was collusion, that these people, these attorneys in ARCA have misrepresented, which is AKA a nice way of saying lied to the court, fraud to the court. Okay, that's what they've done. Hank Brennan isn't lying. He's not coming in there lying. He is a man of integrity. He is calling out the lies. And all of these gaslighters, that's what they do. It's DARVO. They flip it. It's defend, attack, reverse, victim, and offender. That's what the acronym DARVO stands for. And that's what Alan Jackson, David Yannetti, Karen Read, Turtle Boy, Karen Read's father, apparently, all of these people it's DARVO. They're gaslighting you, and everything that they're doing, they're accusing everybody else of doing. This shit, I hope to God it gets exposed. It is so much deeper, and quite frankly, it has been exposed. The media won't acknowledge it. I wish, John, if you happen to hear this, I would really hope that you start talking about all of that too, because that is one of the most important things about this case, in my opinion. The defense wants, all these yackers, FKR, want to say, they should be able to say that ARCA was hired by the FBI. You know what? I agree, and here's why. Because I think that all of the intimidation, the lying, the collusion, the signal communication, all of this shit with Josh Levy, with, all of it should come in. It should all be exposed for what it is. Why are these defendants a little bit pissed off? Or not defendants. Why are these witnesses a little bit irritated and frustrated? Because they have been harassed by a relentless innocence fraud campaign. And quite frankly, some very good people, but a lot of very wicked, evil people for 3 years with the help of the federal government. None of this would have been possible without Josh Levy's interference and cooperation and collusion. That's the story under the story, which the first story is about domestic abuse and how women can be psychopaths and how women can be abusers. That's the story in the Karen Read case and the death of Officer John O'Keefe. That's the story that should be in the media. Remember Johnny Depp? Same fucking thing, people. Same thing. Johnny Depp has all kinds of support, right? What does John O'Keefe get? I don't know, because who decided that Karen Read's life is more important than John O'Keefe's, other than Karen Read herself? Well, apparently Alan Jackson, who's probably boning her publicly, I'm not boning her in public, but that's also very obvious and trying to be covered up by Ashley Banfield and some of the media. Like, come on. Come on. So please expose the rest of it. God, I hope Hank Brennan. You know what I would love to see Hank Brennan in court with Bradel and this Betterow. I watched Betterow on the Defense Diaries last night as much as I could handle. And I was like, God, I hope you meet that man in court. He's talking all the shit about Hank. All the shit. I want to see Hank in court against Betterow and Bradel. I want to see it. I would pay money. That is the next case. Please, please, please hire Hank Brennan to prosecute Aidan Carney. That man needs to be held responsible for his actions. Please, Massachusetts, Morrissey, whoever's in charge of that, hire Hank Brennan to finish the job. Get Josh Levy, get Jackson and Yannetti, get Aidan Carney. Get them all. Please.
And then that's it. Then he sits down and he lets Robert Alisi drone on. You know, he lets Yannetti get up and start saying how many times can he say the name Michael Proctor in a span of 60 seconds. Michael Proctor is not in the courtroom. We have no reason to believe Michael Proctor is going to be in the courtroom. Federal investigators looked at the work done by Michael regarding the investigation done by former state trooper Michael Proctor, and they didn't find any corruption. They found inappropriate language in private text messages, but they didn't find anything.
Personal text messages, which again, I'm just going to say it again, people. I really hope Proctor has a really good civil attorney who is going to sue the shit out of Levy and Yannetti and Jackson and Melanie Little and all these people who have been spreading bullshit about him, lying about him. They didn't, in my opinion, have probable cause to look at his phone. Why are they taking his phone? Because he had it on him at work? I don't get it. Like, they skirted around that somehow. And yet, that was the most damning thing they found in the federal investigation, are mean texts from a police officer who's investigating the death of another police officer who it's becoming very apparent that this bitch is more concerned about how she looks on the 5 o'clock news than the fact that her boyfriend of 2 years is dead, and the children that she was supposedly help raising have now been orphaned again. So was he pissed? Yeah. And like I've said a million times, and I would fight to the end of the earth for Michael Proctor. And if anybody in the Michael Proctor camp, family, anybody, if you know how I can help, I will help. I just don't know how to help. I can write letters. I can do that kind of stuff. If there's something more specific that I can do, please let me know. I want to help this man and his family. He deserves our help. They all deserve our help. The McCabe's, the Alberts, the Proctors, obviously the O'Keefes, all of them deserve our help. His murderer does not deserve our help. His murderer needs to be held accountable for her actions, like her sleazy defense attorney said on the courtroom steps. There are consequences to your actions. He was talking shit about the police because Michael Proctor sent mean texts about his murdering client. Yeah, there are consequences to your actions, and you, sir, need to be held accountable for the actions that you took.
That amounted to corruption. So the narrative that is going forward, but this is, for those that are wondering about the Karen Read case, I have found, as with J17 completed, I think the testimony about John O'Keefe's cell phone is really crucial, because how many people, if you're listening and watching, and again, we're live on AM 1380, 99.9 FM. We're also live on X, and we're live on YouTube, and we're live on Facebook. Visit the website, johndepetroshow.com. How many people, if you're like me, and I think a lot of people are like this, that this is always with you. How many people have Find My iPhone? How many parents track their children by their phone? This is something that is really, become the norm the past number of years. So my point is, when the prosecution is showing evidence of where John O'Keefe's cell phone was, I think that resonates with the jury, because I think this jury understands that wherever his cell phone is where John was. As far as, and I want to touch on, I couldn't believe that though. I wasn't even going to talk about it. But if someone is trying to argue, well, the jury loves Karen. Why would the jury love Karen? Because she's a female? Because she's a white female? Because she's surrounded by her legal team? I want to come back to, I'm just trying to figure out, and maybe someone says, no, juries like people that drink heavily. Juries like people that leave vicious, crazed voicemails. Juries, they really like people like that. Juries like people that are described the next morning as, Jen, Jerry, did I hit him? Oh no, Jerry, evidence, research has shown juries really like defendants that repeat the phrase, did I hit them? Like, what are you talking about? These people, oh, Karen, my queen, Karen. I'm telling you, there's two different worlds going on. Is the real.
We have the same mind, John DePetro, the same mind.
There's the world inside the courtroom, and then there's this fantasy land outside the courtroom. And I come back to, if someone can point to something that has happened thus far, why? Because when the niece, John O'Keefe's niece, got on the stand, and Yannetti said, how can you testify against Karen Reed, you ingrate? She took you to get pizza. How dare you testify against her? You're an ingrate. You're going to, and listen to me, you're 17. If you don't...
He's exaggerating for a fact. He didn't call her an ingrate, but that's the point that he was trying to make. She took you to get her nails done, and she helped you plan a birthday party, so you're clearly ungrateful by just speaking the truth about your uncle's murderer, your father uncle's murderer. And I love John DePetro's ability to put a little humorous spin on it. And Boundless Millennial, I'm sure anybody listening to this is subbed up to Boundless. Please make sure you sub up to both these guys. I'm going to leave a little cliffhanger at the end here to hopefully inspire you all to go finish watching it over on John DePetro Show on YouTube or any of the other platforms that he mentioned, so that he gets the view. But I hope that that the truth prevails and that all of these people are held accountable. And I'm doing everything that I can think of. If anybody has other suggestions of actual actions I can take to help the victims, please do let me know. Please do let me know, because I want to help and I feel helpless. I don't live in the area, but I can do a lot of things. I am a very resourceful person, so please do let me know. Letters will be written to the Board of Law, which also, that's another thing that needs to be changed. People that oversee other attorneys are mostly attorneys. So when attorneys break the law, they're very rarely held accountable. These men, at the very least, should be disbarred, but they really should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. They were part of witness intimidation. It's already in court documents, folks. The proof is already out there. Okay? It's very, very obvious. In fact, it's been obvious since Turtle Boy first got arrested. And it was exposed that he was talking with Karen Reed, and he's said it, and he's proud of it, and he doesn't see any problem with that. And the Turtle Writers see no problem with him getting his information straight from the defense team and then putting it out into the public as if it's truth and gospel, to the point for 2 years. And then when trial happens, to the point when people hear testimony in court, they're saying everybody, every single witness, from paramedics to hospital employees, to every single police officer, to every single person that loved John, all of them are lying because it doesn't follow the lies that have been spewed on social media for 2-3 years. That is brainwashing. That is not truth. People typically, yes, do people sometimes lie in court? Yes. I suspect that if Mr. Reed takes the stand, he will likely try to lie to Mr. Brennan about what happened that morning. I mean, he lies to the media constantly. He's baiting Brennan to put him on the stand. He clearly wants to lie for his daughter. So, yes, people do lie. But 82 witnesses, people that loved John O'Keefe, people that depended on John O'Keefe are not going to lie to help his murderers get free and to frame an innocent woman. Would you do that if you lost your mother, brother, son, uncle, father, whatever, fill in the blank, boyfriend? Then make sure that the person being prosecuted is the person that is guilty of the crime? Would you then help his actual murderers get free and not be charged? I think that we all know the answer to that. It's a pretty simple answer. So why in the hell do you all that are spreading these rumors online think that you know better than the people that loved John O'Keefe? Why is that? Why do you think that you know better and that everybody is lying except the person charged with the crime, the only person charged with the crime, and the people that loved him? Why do you think that they're the ones lying? And the murder defendant and a blogger with terroristic activity in his life. When has Turtle Boy ever done anything for somebody else to better somebody's life? If you think he's telling the truth, look at his past, in quotes, journalism. What does he write about? He's constantly putting people down. He's constantly trying to tear down people. Jess Machado apparently is one of his new biggest fans, and he wrote awful things about her. Like, what is happening? It's so weird that these are adults acting this way. It literally blows my mind. I cannot believe. I used to want to go to Boston. I heard Boston is beautiful. This whole thing has really scared me from ever going there. If this is how adults interact, this is how adults think. It's really scary to me. I don't understand it. This is not normal behavior. This is not healthy behavior. These are not the minds of adults who can think and rationalize and put two and two together and treat people with love and kindness and treat people with empathy and hold people accountable for their actions and find justice for victims. I don't get it. It's literally a twilight zone out there to me. I know there are good people there. I have spoke with many of them, so don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's scary to me that there seems to be such a large community of people in that area that have bought into this propaganda to the point that they are so far gone, they cannot rationalize or see what's right in front of their face. And they have villainized, victimized, and continue to do that to innocent, loving, good people in their community. They're going to cause riots. I am scared for that community. They are on the verge of really bad things happening to more people, more victims being created in this madness because they have tricked some very good people who are otherwise very intelligent. And now they are thinking that they're fighting for justice. They are thinking that they are trying to do the right thing. They are not. They are literally trying to help acquit a person that murdered a very good man. And they can't see it. It's right in front of their face. She's told you. She has literally confessed on national television more times than I can count. And you all refuse to see it or hear it or acknowledge it. She's a dangerous woman. If she is released into your community, somebody else will be hurt. It's a matter of time.
Are calling her by the name Karen, you're going to be in trouble. Stop calling her the defendant. You call her Karen, and you better start testifying that you love Karen, or there's going to be big trouble for you. I mean, what are we talking about? Is that what people are pointing to? I didn't think that was successful at all. I thought that was real lowbrow. I thought it doesn't even go beyond reaching. I didn't realize that Karen Reed was keeping a list of got her coffee, got her a donut, gave her a ride. On this date, I told her she looked nice, and now you're hearing all that stuff back? Well,
everything with Karen Reed is transactional. Everything. That is not healthy. That is not healthy, folks. If you have been tricked by this, please start to rethink this. What you have been told are lies, and you are literally helping defend a very, very evil person, and several other people that are supporting her, knowing that she killed John. These people know. Turtle Boy knows that she killed John. Melanie Little knows that she killed John. These people, Mark Betterow knows that she killed John. Mark Betterow knows exactly what his client, Turtle Boy, is doing, and he gets off on it. These people feel good about other people's pain and winning and trying to manipulate the law to their advantage, trying to say that they are fighting for free speech. Really? Really? You're fighting for free speech. What about my speech? What about people that come out and talk about you? What are you going to do about that? Is that okay? Is that okay that, we're sitting here speaking the truth? No, you won't even have any kind of respectful conversation with anybody that says Karen Read is guilty, that they think Karen Read is guilty based on their opinion. You won't even entertain them. You call them stupid. You call them idiots. I mean, you call them every name in the book like you're a freaking fifth grader because they don't agree with you. So they must be stupid. And people have fallen for this. And people want to be part of this crowd of people. They want social life. I don't know. There's so many different motivations for so many different people, but none of them are healthy. None of them are positive, and it's really sick. And yes, I agree with John DePetro here about David Yannetti's cross-examining, like the fact that Karen Read bought her donuts should then make it okay that Karen Read killed her uncle, really her father. I mean, what the fuck is that?
I think I can speak for the niece. I'll bet the niece would forego Dunkin' Donuts and forego pizza in order to get her uncle back. The jury loves Karen Read. What planet are these people living on? I repeat, under what evidence has been presented? I could say, here's the thing. I could almost rationalize if someone said, when the defense finishes, I predict the jury will have a different, more positive opinion of Karen Read. I could almost live with that. But I am telling you right now, based on what? Well, they just love her. She sits there and she walks up to the judge and she's got these nice suits on, and but the jury doesn't see her walk into court. The jury, they just love Karen. Based on what? Because she's sitting there. You know what the jury is really seeing the most of Karen are the Karen clips that play on huge screens and boom in the courtroom. They played, one this morning. So I just reject that, 100%. Folks, and I don't get these people like, what do you care? I don't believe the jury likes her. You put that you think they love her. Whatever. You think I blanket cares? I was telling someone last night. Everyone should just focus on their own reporting. That's what they should focus on. You must follow our narrative. And our narrative is the jury loves Karen. What narrative? What are you talking about? You people are insane. Folks, this portion of the program, hey, when disaster strikes.
I want to know more about that, John. Please tell us more about that. I want you to expose these people. Seriously, that is unethical. That is not what reporting is supposed to be in America. That is not journalism. That is propaganda. They all need to be exposed. Please tell us more about that, John. I'm going to leave it here and upload this. Please, I'm going to leave it here because I want you to go visit John's YouTube and sub up and listen to him, get your news from him. He clearly knows that Karen's guilty, but he's still, you can hear him. He's trying to give every benefit of the doubt, If they don't prove their case, he's going to say, I don't think that they've proved this part or whatever, He's going to be honest about it. But thank you all for listening, and please spread love and light in this world. Smile at the people that you come into contact with at the grocery store, at schools that you might be at the gas stations that you might go to, at everything in your daily life. Go to the beach and smile and just be nice. Help somebody. Do something nice out of the kindness of your heart. Chris Albert and his family, order some D&E pizza for the police station. Even if you don't live in the community, just order, and make a donation. You can order pizzas from there to just kind of donate. They donate it to different organizations that have people that need to eat, or the police stations. These police need our support. Are there bad police in the world? Of course there are. Is there corruption in this world? Of course there is. Is it in this case? Absolutely it is. But it's with the defense team and Josh Levy and the federal government. That's where the actual corruption is, okay? It is not against Karen Read. So that's hopefully what is going to be part of the news in the future, because this bullshit right now is not facts. It's just not. So yeah, anyway, I love you all. The community that I do have here. I'm not a huge YouTuber. I just come on literally with this case to try to do some good, to try to combat all of these YouTubers that spread lies and filth and propaganda and the mainstream media. I try to combat that however I can. Of course, I'm tiny. I hope to grow, just because only for the fact that I want people to know the truth about this and to start fighting for the truth and to start standing up to adult bullies and corruption and power, where they're abusing their power, Josh Levy. Okay? That shit needs to be stopped. And the only people that can stop it, the only way evil stopped, is by good people doing nothing. Okay? We all need to try. We all need to do what we can to stand up against this campaign of terror that has terrorized this entire community for 3 years now. Please spread love and light. Hug the people you love. Give hugs to strangers if it's not too weird. I'm a big hugger. If people aren't into it, I don't do it. But hugs go a long way. I've been told I'm an excellent hugger. I believe them. I love hugs. Simple things that we can do for each other. Smile. A simple smile can change the entire course of somebody's day, week, or month. Think about how powerful that is. The same goes for negativity. So please, when you can, be a positive influence in this world. We all have bad days. Forgive yourself. Do better. The best we can do is to do better the next day. Do better than we did the day before. Every day, the best we can. We're going to have bad days. We're going to not be perfect. We need to grant grace where we can, and help where we can, and call out bullshit where we can. All of that is so important. Please, please, America, I need your help. We all need your help. Proctor needs your help. The O'Keefes need your help. The Alberts and the McCabe's need your help. Please. Love and light. I love you all. Be well and be good to one another. Mwah.